we are gonna discuss earthquakes. I do not have a personal experience of a earthquake of high intensity, but my immediate family had one earthquake, which is the famous Gujarat Bhuj earthquake, where my mother was there, my brother and his family was there, and there was a kid, a 6-year-old kid, my brother's son. He was inside when the quake started, and someone, in fact his grandfather, maternal grandfather, went to fetch him from the room where he was sleeping on a bed, and he suddenly started shouting, "Train kisne chala di, train kisne chala di." Okay. And another experience of the Tarai area of my own house, where one of the walls cracked due to the Nepal earthquake. So earthquakes, they happen when two blocks of earth, they suddenly slip over one another along a surface which is called a fault or fault line. The location where the earthquake starts is called the hypocenter, and just above it, on the surface of the earth, maybe it is the seabed or maybe it is the continental bed, that is called epicenter. And from there, the shocks of earthquakes, they travel in all directions. Well, sometimes there are 4 shocks, and they are followed by, after some time, by the main shocks. And there are aftershocks, which may come weeks after, days after, months after, or even sometimes year after. And these shocks, they are there. So we must know, I am no geologist or even a geophysicist, but I am sharing with you as a teacher. I am sharing with you what I gather from the public space, that we have to understand what is the earth made up of. The earth is made up of an inner core which is solid. Thereafter there is an outer core which is liquid, and on that lies the mantle. Mantle is like a cloak, okay, which is there. The temperatures are in the range of 4500 degrees Celsius, high temperatures, and on that lies what is known as the crust of the earth. And this crust is a thin layer, like a skin, but this skin is several tens of kilometers, hundreds of kilometers from the surface of the earth. The earth, as it is called, the ocean and the land are Bahro Bar or Jal Thal, and also in Urdu we call it khushki and tari. That is, on the surface of this ball of the earth we have large, in fact about 3/4 of the oceans, and 1/4 is in the form of lands. Continental, subcontinental, in the form of many things that are there. So what happens is, but this layer is actually laid upon something which is called some tectonic plates. Some tectonic plates, and they cover the whole earth. There are dozens of plates of huge area and of huge depth. These are rocky structures which are close to each other, but the surface is not smooth. The surface is bumpy. So what happens is that sometimes there is a slip or a dip, and then what happens is that these tectonic plates, they are not stationary. They move with velocities as small as, speeds as small as an inch, that is 2.5 centimeters, to about 10 to 12 centimeters per year. So that's less than a snail's pace. So sometimes what happens is that these plates, let us suppose the plates are like this, okay, and these plates, they can move apart, they can come and hit each other, they can slip past each other, and in doing so, when they are slipping past, then what happens is that some part of it gets stuck, while the other part is still in motion. And since that is a huge chunk of lithosphere, litho means stone. So what happens is that some energy is gathered over there, and when one part is stuck and the other part moves, then a lot of energy is generated. Now what happens is that when it unstucks, the sticking goes, then suddenly what happens is that a very huge amount of energy is released, and this huge amount of energy is always at the edges of the tectonic plates. So this energy, when it is released, this energy, it comes out in the form of vibrations, huge vibrations, and the earth may wiggle, and then there is this percolates. So that is studied in the help of what we call the seismograms, which tell us about the motion of the earth, seismic waves, and that can be studied by us to tell us the exact location of what is called the epicenter. In fact, there is a triangulation method. Triangulation method means that one place, another place, and a third place, and we are able to assess the distance of the epicenter. But that distance can lie anywhere on a circular peripheral. So when we have three things, then 1, 2, and 3. And when we extend that and study that, then we are able to say the epicenter. So uh, one thing is very interesting, and that is we cannot predict if the earthquake is there, even if there is a foreshock. The foreshock may be a complete earthquake of small magnitude. The magnitudes of the earthquakes are given on the Richter scale, which is maybe from 0 to 10. That is a logarithmic thing, that in the form of log to the base 10, we obtain a certain thing and we are able to say which earthquake is stronger than the other earthquakes. Sometimes these earthquakes, they result in tsunamis, we have talked about that, and at times there are disruptions called volcanic disruptions. When they come to the surface of the earth with the ocean part or the continental part, a havoc is done. And to tell you the truth, where I am standing right now, away from about 40-50 kilometers from that, we are actually standing at the edge of where an earthquake can occur sometimes, and unfortunately there are many things which may add to the devastations like they have added before in Japan or Sumatra or Java or in California and of course in the Bhuj and Nepal earthquakes that we have had an experience. So God save us.